Hello,
Hey,
hello,
what's
hello.
happening?
How's everybody? We're going to have a really exciting day today. Just going to wait for some folks to join and follow us. Be fun.
Yes.
Hello. Is that Barry Burke? All made up. Okay. My sister, Mark Artistry. I want to show her the earrings I have on today. Of course, they're made by Mack Artistry. How do you say this? Saram Linda? Hey, cousin Nicholas is on.
Okay.
That dude Dion. Hey, Dion, how are you doing? Do you have a new record coming out or something new is coming out for Dion, huh? Right.
We got music coming out. Hey,
He's
Keandra, do you see? We got the.
Keandra, do you see me, darling? Do you see me, darling? You guys, I'll mention it again, but I have Jolie Noir from. Oh gosh. And well, how did it go off?
I don't know.
Oh, it went off somehow. But I have on Jolie Noir's one of their collection with the flowers. I think it's very gorgeous. The pants are there to match. Thank you, Keandra. I also wanted to show you guys something else that I got. Let me see. Do you guys know the what's her name? Jackie Ina. She has a line of candles that I saw at Sephora, so I bought them. She's a big black influencer on on all the different networks. She's really good, so I want to. Oh gosh, this smells so good, you guys. Yeah, and I guess we're waiting to get Dr. Scott on also. Ooh. Look at this, you guys. It's delicious.
Yep, just press it.
The smell of it. So I wanted to show you that and all the new stuff that we're doing. Let's see. Hi, Richard Nichols.
Oh, okay.
Hey, okay. Your face is totally in me. Okay, there we go.
Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Scott.
Oh, hey.
You got to get more in the center of it, though. You're going down. There you
Now
go.
you got
Now,
it.
don't move me. What did you end up using? The laptop or what?
This is the iPad. iPad.
Hi, Sydney.
Is
We
that
see
Sydney?
you over there.
Hey, Sydney, how you doing, girl?
Hey, what's happening out there?
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there, Reverend.
Okay.
I'm hanging in there.
We're really happy to see you. Okay, Pastor, now put it back. There we go. All right. So we are honored to have the man on that we have today. Now, Pastor,
Now that's your
we've
belt
seen your
buckle.
belt buckle and everything. And Pastor, I know you.
I'm gonna get a chair, so I don't have to stand up all this time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go get yourself
Go
a chair.
get your chair.
All right,
Go
here we
get your
go. I think we got it now. This is a man that I can't tell you how much Dr. Scott means to us. I'm going to read something that I wrote about you, Dr. Scott. And I just want to share this. This is a very special person to me and to our whole family. Dr. Scott's seemingly quiet ways are deceiving.
Don't be fooled.
He is, in fact, one of the most brilliant minds in the music business, and his strategies have stood the test of time. How else has he and his company become the oldest active gospel label in the world?
Yeah.
When Claude and I first started our label, Dr. Scott and Tyscot was the company who showed us the ropes. They showed us how to do contracts. They showed us because so many people wouldn't tell us anything, wouldn't help us out at all, wouldn't give us any pointers. Dr. Scott also was one of the first jobs he hired me when I was an independent in gospel music. And we'll have to talk about that a little bit more because that was ages ago. And I needed the job at the time. Clyde and I had been married not that long. And so it was just really a blessing for us. And so I'm forever grateful to Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott, like I said, is a real strategist. And he seems quiet, but if you sit and talk to him, this man knows a lot. Amen. And he is the definition of a real pioneer. one of the things that is even more exciting is how Tyscot has continued to be a leader in gospel music. And they've had artists through the years like John P. Key, Dietrich Haddon, Rance Allen, and Anthony Brown. They have always been at the top. And I know you guys can't do it, but I want this time us to act like we're standing and giving Dr. Scott a standing ovation. Welcome, Dr. Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Bless your bones.
This is a special.
This is special for us, yes, because they have remained friends for us and someone that we could look up to. And we've appreciated that so much. So we're happy to have you on, Dr. Scott. Now, are you a native of Indianapolis?
I was born right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Been here all my life, except when I went to college.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Terre Haute, Indiana. So
He's still in Indiana.
about 70 miles away, right?
You haven't. Okay. So you haven't gone very far.
No.
And this is the thing about you that, for me, is I don't know how you do it. You're a pastor. You're a doctor. You're a dentist. And I know my sister, Dr. Dentist Kelly, says hello.
Yes, yes.
And you had up a label. So what came first, being a dentist or having the label? Tell us about that.
Well, the dentistry came first, but the music was in there, though. I was in a R&B band before. And the reason I got out of the band, because my daddy told me I was going to flunk out of school because we would hit the road on Friday after class and come back Monday morning before the next class. And you know, that works in college, but in dental school, that wasn't working.
Yeah, you can't do that in dental school. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do my Vicki being messy part then. That was what I was going to say. Now, you've also been in R&B music, and Sydney gave me a couple of tips that your older brother, I guess, who worked with you, that people like, you guys were around people like Jimi Hendrix came by, Etta James, and that you opened for Steppenwolf. Now,
Steppenwolf, the Birds.
Wow.
Oh, you remember the Tiptoe Through the Tulips guy?
Yeah.
We opened for him. I just looked. That guy was interesting. He played the ukulele on both hands. He switched it around and played on this hand, and he switched it around and played on the other.
He was something just different, huh?
Yeah, he was very different. Very different.
It seems like he's had music in him.
Yeah, so you've had
yeah, you've been doing music for a long time before you got into dentistry.
So, so how would a person that's a dentist be in music also?
Well, here's the deal. I told my daddy we was gonna be big as the Beatles. See, back then the Beatles was like,
that was big. It's still big.
Yeah, they were big, you know.
Yeah.
And so I told him, you know, our little band was gonna be big as the Beatles, you know. And he told me, he said, "Boy, let me tell you something." He said, "For every rock star you show me, for every bad musician you show me," he said, "I'll show you 100 of them that are better than they are, that are not making a dime, playing in a cheap hole in the wall somewhere." And then he said, "For every poor doctor you show me, I'll show you 100 rich ones," you know. And so, you know,
so you did both, and look at you now.
Yeah, and here's what he told me. He said, "Go ahead and get your degree, and you can do whatever you want to do with music."
And he sure was right, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably, because I ain't become a rock star yet, you know.
Well, you rocking in your own way.
All right.
So how did you decide? Now you got this name, Tyscot. How did that name come about? Because I've always wondered. That's a weird. It's an odd name. Yeah. Because I don't know what it means.
So when the Lord saved me, I got out of music altogether because music had been my God. Just bottom line.
Okay.
Man, when we was in that band, we rehearsed all the time, and we were just, I mean, we loved the lifestyle, and it was all ungodly, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, you know, you can worship anything, you know. You can make a God out of anything. And so I got out of music altogether when the Lord saved me, because I knew what a hold it had on me.
Okay.
After about a year, though, it was like I got a release in my spirit, and I just got into church choir. And at that time, our church was going through a lot of turmoil, like you know, deacon and pastor turmoil. It was like just leading up to a split, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I went on a fast. Went to a hotel and shut myself in for 3 days and 3 nights. I had a Bible, notebook, and a little tape recorder. You know how long ago that was? I had a tape recorder.
That was a while ago.
Little cassette tape recorder. And after being in there 3 days and 3 nights, it was time for me to leave. And just about, I think, 8 or 10 songs, the Lord just started downloading into me. And I really never wrote a song before.
Really?
And I just started singing them, words and music, just start singing them in this little tape recorder, just one after another. And so I took them to the guy that was the organist at the church and played them for him and asked him what he thought about them. And he said, I think we ought to do a record. And so we started, you know, working on that. And at the time, I was practicing dentistry. I started practicing dentistry, and my attorney, you know, he asked me, he said, you know, you need to incorporate because you have these other assets. You got to practice, you got this and this. He said, somebody sue you, and if you don't have it protected, you know, they'll sue you.
Yeah.
They have it under a corporate umbrella, you know, they can just sue if they say you stole their song or something.
That's right. That's right.
So, and he said, well, what do you want to call it? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, what's your partner's name? And his name was Craig Tyson. And I told him, and he said, well, why don't you call it Tyscot? And I said, cool.
Wow.
You know? Now, here's the deal. I had no idea that anything else was going to happen in that company except we put this church record out on it, you know.
Wow.
And look at what's happened since then. I mean, I didn't realize until recently that you had, what's his name, Sawyer?
Bill Sawyer. Bill Sawyer.
I remember him.
Yeah, he was our first break. I don't know if you remember, but I remember being at years when it was in Chicago at the GMWA. And this was when they were really rocking and rolling, you know. And us labels would come and present our new artists.
That's right. We
I'd
scared.
be sweating, you know, because you're sitting in front of all the announcers, you know. And you want them to play your record, you know. And I don't know who I had back then, but you know, they wasn't popular at all. And so after my spiel, you know, Bill Sawyer came up to me, you know, after I wiped the sweat off my head, you know. And he said, he put his arm around. He was the chaplain at that time of the Announcers Guild. And he said,
okay, that's right.
He said, I like you. He said, I got this record, all of them on it. He said, I ain't got time to fool with it. He said, I'm a pastor, I got my church. He said, I'm just gonna give it to you, and whatever, you know. And at that point, I realized that, you know, you can make money with records, you know, because before then, every year I would sit down with my accountant. He'd look at the practice and he said, that's going good. He'd look at this other business and then he'd look at the record company and he would say, you need to shut that one down.
Well, thank God for
he said, this one's sucking the money out of all the other ones. You know, and I told him, well, you know, you golf, you know, you don't make no money golfing. You're not a pro. You know, you just out there spinning. So I like to do records, you know. He just shake his head, you know what I'm saying?
Just shaking his head. Well,
but Bill Sawyer, he had a lady, a 90-year-old lady singing Jesus Keep Me Near the Cross. I don't remember if you remember that or not.
I think I do remember that, actually.
And everybody wanted it. Everybody wanted it. She used to sing in bars, you know, before she was. She wore out Jesus Keep Me Near the Cross. And at that point, where I was calling stations and calling, please take my record, please play my record.
And you were calling yourself, right? Just like me?
Yeah, I was calling myself. calling myself. And they say, oh, well, did you send it to us? Yeah, I sent it to you. Oh, send us another one. Yeah, you know the game, you know.
Yes. For
I
this,
haven't had time to listen to it yet. Call me back next week.
Right. For
But
those of you
this
guys
one-
that don't know in promotion, we would send records, we would mail them. And
Right.
nobody would have it after you spent all that money mailing.
Right.
You'd have to send it out again.
Very frustrating. But this
Yeah.
one, they were calling me. You got that Bill Sawyer?
Wow.
Oh, really?
And that's when you know
Yeah,
you
they
have
started
something.
calling me. You know, and so I found out if you have something that they want,
That's right.
it makes all the difference in the world.
It sure
That's
does. It sure does. Yeah, I remember that with Kirk Franklin at first when I started sending it out. Some of those guys told me we don't play new artists that we don't know. And I would be
Sorry,
so
I can't
upset.
show the result
What
to
is
you
that?
while you're in the car.
I don't know. Oh, is that my phone? Oh, I'm sorry, my phone is so I've got stuff on. But with Kirk, which was my first record, they after a while, it took a minute, they started calling me.
Yep.
So I guess that's part of it when you know you've really got something going.
Right.
You know, I want to break in for a second. First of all, for those of you who are just coming on, we're talking to Dr. Leonard Scott, is extraordinaire. He's the chairman of Tyscot Records Music. What is it, Tyscot?
I think they call it music and entertainment now.
Music and entertainment.
Yeah.
And he just does so many great things. We love him so much. But we were going to have Byron Cage on right before to talk about a concert he's doing. And we heard that his father has just become gravely ill and he has had to rush to Washington, D.C. So if everybody can remember to keep Byron Cage's father in your prayers. I texted him and he said, Vicki, it's going to take a miracle. So
Wow.
we know miracles can happen. So
Amen.
please pray for him. And I see it. Bryant Scott it has just entered
Oh,
our
wow. He said,
Hi,
hey, Dan.
Bryant, how are you doing?
Hey, Brian.
See, you know, by the way, that's the thing about you. Now, I'm going to be messy a little bit again here. Are you a bishop or are you a pastor and a doctor?
A bishop, doctor, pastor. Yeah, so I'm a part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World, and under that organization, I'm what's called a suffragan bishop in Kenya, Africa.
Okay. So you're a bishop. I didn't realize that we should be calling you Bishop Scott.
See, here's the deal. Peter was the chief apostle, and they called him Peter, you know.
Right.
Jesus was the Messiah, and they called him Jesus, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, the lowest I can go is Dr. Scott. That's the least I can say is that's as far as I'm going down.
So Kenya, so are they under your, if you want to say, episcopacy?
Yes.
Okay.
Now there's in our organization there are different tiers. Like you have the presiding bishop is like over the whole organization, and you have assistant presiders, and then you have what are called diocesan bishops, and these are the bishops that are over a certain area. So I'm not a diocesan bishop, but suffragan bishops serve under diocesan bishops in the area.
Okay.
And then after that, they're like district elders, and you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I was like, oh my goodness,
So
all this time we should have been calling him
So
Bishop.
the area that you're in service is Kenya.
Right, Kenya, East Africa.
East Africa.
So do you go there often to Kenya and to that area?
Not often. We, you know, when I first became suffragan bishop, you know, I went over. I think I've been over Africa a couple of times, but the last time we were going to go, they actually told us don't come because there was political unrest going on and stuff, you know, and they said, you know, this better stay home, you know.
Yeah, we've had the same thing.
Yeah, we have a ministry in Haiti and similar.
Yeah, Claude can't go to Haiti right now.
So, but
it's just kind of the way it is. But like I said, I was kind of being a little messy again because I don't know how you and your wife stay so thin. But Pastor, how many children do you have? Claude and I had a debate. He said it was like 8. I said, I think it's 11.
What? Both of y'all going overboard. I got seven.
Oh, 7.
The number of finality, 7.
Oh, 7 kids.
7.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 is new beginning. You know, it's like.
So there were 8 in my family. So
It was 8. Okay, so you have.
No, it's 7. 7.
7. He said, don't give me any more.
He said no.
So Brian is your son and also a very good friend of ours and the president of Tyscot. How many daughters does he have? Because he hasn't had any sons. How many does he have?
He's got 7. He's got 7 daughters.
So y'all like to have 7 kids.
Y'all like 7 in
Yeah,
this family.
that's the number of finality, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, the number.
But so you do have, Tyscot is a family organization. How do you work to keep that going, having, you know, your son in there? And we're so proud of Bryant because he's been doing so many great things. And I want you to talk about that a little bit. And then you've got Sydney over there. And what's it like, you know, having a business that you've had so long, longer than anybody else has had a gospel label, a Black person having a label. How do you work all that out?
It's, you know, it is really, it's wonderful to have your children, your family work with you.
Yes.
I know of so many cases, and we never really tried to force our children, you know, to do. We tried to find out what their leaning was toward, you know, what kind of gifts they had, and we tried to point them in a certain direction, but we never, and we had them working at all the businesses, you know, from called child abuse, you know.
Yes.
Child labor law. You violated every child labor law.
Yes,
Right.
from personal experience.
Right. I know you know.
Yeah, no.
We have them packing
Take out
records
the
and
trash.
all that.
Answer the
Oh,
phone.
no.
Look at these
Right.
books.
School mailers. That's what, yes.
Yep. So, but in fact, Bryant was going to be a dentist, and you know, we'd have him working in the dental office from as little children. One of our daughters did become a dentist.
Yes.
And one of his daughters became a dentist.
That's right. That's right. So you've got,
So,
and are they all working with you in the
practice?
they have been. Well, my granddaughter is still there. My daughter, though, I thought she was going to take it over. You know, she was with me about 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
Then she met a man.
Oh.
Listen,
And I ain't talking about Jesus.
And ruined your plans, didn't it?
And she couldn't find nobody here. You know, she had to go
Oh yeah, okay.
somewhere across the nation. You know.
It's go somewhere across the day.
Yeah.
I heard that.
So, but you know, I always tell her she left me for another man. She always said, "Oh, yeah."
That's so funny.
Well, Dr. Mack, she's under Yoga Mack. She says, don't forget awesome infection control as a dentist. You know, my sister's in infectious disease control, and she just moved back to Texas. So she's not last week, a couple of weeks ago or so. Yeah.
In June.
She's back in there. But
that's where my daughter is. My daughter is the dentist. Yeah, she's in Texas. She's in Dallas.
Okay.
Okay.
Kelly's in San Antonio. I'll have to have them get together because I know they have a Black women's dental, the Black female dentists try to get together and do things. So I have to, you know, talk to her about that.
See if you can hook them up.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do remember a testimony that you had, and I remember the time, and I wanted you to talk about this because people look at us and they think, oh, you guys have been successful. Oh, you're just making so much money and everything is so perfect and great. But I want you to tell us about the time when you almost lost Tyscot Records with the Spectrum deal and all that. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Yeah, you remember Spectrum? Yeah. That was man, that was it was a test. It was a trial, you know? It was something that made us stronger, something that made us wiser, you know?
Well, tell me the people what Spectrum was, or Spectra.
Spectra was a distribution company that was put together by forget his name now, but it'll come back.
I can't remember either, but he had Benson, right? Or
Right. Yeah. One time he was president over Benson. He went kind of started his own thing, and it seemed like a really good idea. You know, it seemed like it was really rocking and rolling. But I got a call from him on a Friday evening, and he said, Dr. Scott, he said, your company's doing real good. At the time, John Key had the number
Bob
one.
McKenzie.
Bob McKenzie. Yep.
That's
it.
right.
That's it.
Right.
He told me your company's doing good. He said a couple other ones. He said, but most of them are not really doing good. And he said, we're gonna shut down. He said we're not. He said this isn't like a bankruptcy thing or something where you get a dime on a dollar. He said we're shutting completely down. And he told me, I'm sorry. You know.
And oh gosh, so that meant zero. There was nothing coming.
That means zero, right? Zero. Right. He said, you know, you can, if you want to, you can come down here and get, you know, all the inventory and stuff, your records, whatever you can carry away from here. But Monday, he said, we out of here. We gone. It's shut down. It's over.
I remember.
Right.
Yeah. And so.
And nobody would take over the accounts? They didn't try to handle certain accounts over, like, you know, your account over to, say, like, Sparrow or somebody. They just said.
Bye. They just said bye.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, who would probably, because we owed a lot of people a lot of money, and they had the money, you know, so.
Right.
And they left.
Yeah.
So with the artists, how did that work out, trying to tell them?
Yeah, we told all of them that we can't pay you, you know, what we owe you. Of course, wasn't that many of them that we owed. You know how the business is, you know. Most of them owed us, you know.
Because you got to recoup, right?
You know, it's the ones that are really making it that really pay for everything, and all the rest of them. And at that time, that was John Key. You know, he was rocking and rolling. He was paying a lot.
Yes, he was.
He was.
And they owed us about $300,000. And this was back in the 90s, yeah. And we had to call all our artists and tell them, you know, you're out of your contract with the ones that we owed money to, because some of them, like I say, they owed us, you know. But the ones that we owed, you know, it was like, we can't hold you anymore. And I remember John told us, he said, I'm not going anywhere. He said, and everybody knew what happened. You know, they knew we wasn't trying to rip anybody out. It wasn't something that was secret. Everybody knew how we got messed up, or, you know.
Yeah, and
he said, I'm gonna stay with you. You know what he told us? He said, I don't trust nobody else but y'all.
Wow,
that's something. Yeah.
And I think part of it was that we made, and this is Brian, made some very wise decisions. When John, well, you all know, when you sign a new artist, the contract is crap, you know. It's like,
you're right.
I mean, that's the best contract.
Yeah. You got to do that, you know.
You have to,
because most records don't break even. Most of them, you know, they leave you in the hole, and so you have to do something to get some of the money to. But when John hit, I mean, we had him signed to where we could just go on for 2 or 3 more records and just clean up, you know. But we went in and restructured his contract.
Wow.
To someone that was selling the records he was selling, you know, rather than just milking it. And I think that's why he trusted us, you know, because most people wouldn't do that. They would just sit back and break it in, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's my business.
Yeah. And so that's how we really made it, because he stayed with us.
Oh, what a blessing.
And all the other the pressing plants, you know, back then it was pressing plants. All the people we owed, you know, they said, well, listen, we can't do it for free for you, but if you pay us you go, you know, we can do that for you.
Right.
Even though you owe us a lot of money, you know.
Praise God.
Yes. They worked with us, you know,
and so you just know that it's a blessing and a miracle, and you need a lot of them being in the music business, I think, especially gospel music. But how has the industry changed today, do you think, from how it was then?
Oh, tremendously. You know, I don't know. You might know better than I do what the statistics are today, but back then when I got into it, it was only 1 out of 9 records broke even.
Yeah,
1
I
out of
don't
9.
know.
They said
It's
better chances of going to Las Vegas and rolling the dice
Absolutely.
than winning in records. You know?
It's probably 1 out of hundreds now,
well,
or
yeah.
thousands maybe.
Well,
So much stuff comes
because
out.
right.
And with DJ, what is that, baby? The people can just put out records and get them out. There's just
very few do well, but you're about right. The numbers hasn't changed much.
Okay.
The you know,
1 out of
because
9
we're
break
always doing it.
I bet you it's bigger than
through
that.
labels.
Labels. Okay, through labels.
Because people are always doing their own independent stuff.
And that means just making enough to pay for the recording, you know.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean profit. That means
no profit.
only one
just
makes enough.
even.
Yeah, to break even.
For the whole label.
Yeah, that means
Breaking
8
even.
go in the hole, you know, totally in the hole.
Right.
Yeah, it's a crazy business. So now with social networking, social media and all that, you've got different ways of counting the money, but now it's pennies.
Right, they got to get that fixed.
Switch from physical to digital and then to subscription based. So the whole business model has changed.
Right.
And so it's, you know, so your business practices have to adjust.
Right.
You see, to what's going
I think it's going to be good once they get the numbers right. Right now, the numbers are just too low of what they're paying per spin, you know. It's like...
Well, that's some of there's a number of you know, so to say actions to try to address that, at least on the publishing side, on the publishing side in terms of songwriter side. You know, there's still other issues in terms of, you know, radio and other things. So, but it's you know, the thing is the subscription base has to grow to the level, because the last number I saw was that we've only made it halfway back to where the industry was.
Wow.
You know, back in 2000.
Oh, we've only made it halfway.
You know, like in 2008 or something like that. And so we've only made, in terms of volume, we've only made it halfway back.
Okay.
Wow.
Is that because the streaming numbers are so low?
The streaming, well, not the streaming, not that they're low. People, you know, we realize that people you know, use music in more ways now than they did before. It's just that it's the monetization.
That's what I mean, right? That's low. That's what's low.
That's what's low.
That's what's low.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to tell people now, if you want to be an artist, that's great, but don't leave your day job. Or like if you're gonna be a dentist or something, do that too.
Right.
Have some other things going. I mean, now more than ever, you have to think about multiple income streams. I think that's not just with the music industry. I think that's with everything. People don't keep jobs for a lifetime anymore like they used to. And so you've got to do different things. And I know you've done that, but so and then you're a pastor. How do you get that in there too? And I mean, you can preach. And I'm like, how does he do all this? Tell us a little bit about your ministry and preaching. I don't know how you do all this.
How'd you get into it? Because you started in music.
And in R&B music at that.
And then in the choir, you started in the choir.
But the Lord brought me out.
He brought you out, and now you ministry, you bishop, and so on. Tell that story. That's interesting.
Well, that is a calling. You know, I never thought I'd ever be a preacher or more or less a pastor. I remember the church that I was going to. My brother-in-law was my pastor. I got saved under his ministry.
Okay.
He wasn't my brother-in-law when I got saved, though. I married one of his sisters later on. You know.
Okay.
But his son, who was just a little boy back then, and I was a young man, you know, and he met me in the middle of the hall at the church one. He looked at me in the eye and he said, "You're gonna be a pastor." At the time, I was one of his daddy's deacons, you know. I was helping, you know, and you know, he was known to have like a little prophetic mantle,
Okay.
So, but I was thinking, I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking in my mind, you missed it this time, buddy. You know. You know, I just kind of shook my head and went on. But you know, God, He called me to, and I remember when He called me to start a church, and I went to my wife, and the church we were at was it was, you know, it was big. Well, for back then, it's seated 2,200. You know, it was
That's
a
lot.
nice church.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was on the board. You know, pastor's brother-in-law. You know, my wife. And so we had, you know, a little position in the church, and it was out in the suburbs. You know, nice. And so I went to my wife and said, I think the Lord wants us to start a church. And she looked at me and said, I don't know about that.
I got to tell you, I said, Lord, I'll do it if you want, but I do not want to be a first lady of the church. Please, if you will, pass us by.
You don't want to wear them hats, do you?
Ooh,
we were out there doing, I mean, the kind of ministry we were doing was, you know, ministry to homeless, prisons.
Yeah, he's in prisons and hopeless and hopeless.
Wow.
Homeless. Hopeless. They're not hopeless, but sometimes they seem that way. And that when Claude and I were like first meeting each other and everything, he would take me to the prisons and we'd go to prison ministry. And I just thought, I realized at that time what a calling was, that you just don't go places to be talking about you're going to do ministry. Because it was serious up in there. And when they told me they had a no hostage rule, I said, what does that mean, no hostage rule? That means if you minister in the prisons, they have the right to act, and they have to shut it down, and there's a right or something. They have the right to act like you're not there.
Whoa.
That's when I stopped going to the prison. I said, you know what, Vicki, don't play around. You ain't called, girl. You might get in one of them no hostage things and not come out. But Pastor, Bishop. Well, he's Bishop. Pastor. Call him all kinds of things, and I'll still be right. I'll never call Dr. Scott Leonard. Never. It will never come out of my mouth, ever. Bishop, Dr. Brother.
Yes.
You know, you got. But then you got teacher cat. I mean, people don't realize. I don't think
some of the movies they started doing movies.
Also started doing movies that you pioneered. I just wanted to have an artist that could be as competitive as John P. Key. We all wanted to strive to the level of what you guys were doing, and you know, so it was a blessing to have that in front of us. And I got to tell you guys, it's very rare, but if you can find a Dr. Scott in your life, you cherish that person. And we do, we cherish you. But what was it like going through all that and all the different personalities, and how do you handle artists, and especially as they get big?
I turn them over to my son. Here's what you do. When you're in charge, you learn how to delegate.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. That works. That's good. I hear Terrence was saying that labels need to be more than just about music, and labels need to be more, and artists need to be more than singers, I guess. So.
Well, this is Bespoke Spain.
That's Terrence.
Oh, Terrence. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, well, that's a whole nother discussion we should have. We probably should do something like that.
Yeah.
To talk about.
That would be a good discussion.
Yeah.
You know, back in the Motown days, you remember they were taking artists and the whole ball of wax. I mean, just take them from, teach them how to talk, how to walk, how to do it. You know?
We followed that model. My sister, who has Mark Artistry, would give us etiquette classes.
Wow.
Yeah. We even had some that we had to teach some of the ladies about proper feminine hygiene and stuff like that, because things people don't think about, like being up on stage and getting sweaty, or like our kids would be dancing and how to bind yourself in so you're not flopping all over the place.
The young ladies.
The young ladies, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we did a lot of that stuff. We worked on
interviews, how to do interviews.
Right. Yeah.
So we went through a lot of different things with our artists, yes.
But I mean, like I said, you wear so many hats. But there's two things I want to tell you about. We cannot play the music, we found out, because we might get shut down. We have to get clearances. So I wanted to tell everybody, first of all, about my favorite song, which is Feel Good. I call it I Feel Good. But you can find that on iTunes. And then you have a song that's just been released? Or
Yes.
released?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
It's not released yet. It's just been sent to radio. So I think it's going to be a couple more weeks before it's, available for purchase or
what's
for
that called?
Streaming. That kind of thing. It's called Great I Am. Great I Am.
Great I Am.
Great I Am. It's just a worship song about who Jesus is. He's the Great I Am. He's the lily in the valley. He's the bright morning star. He's the bread of life. He's the way. He's the truth. He's the light. He's the great I am.
Amen. Well, and that's the other thing about you. You have kept, even though you guys have been, I remember when you had a rapper way before people were into rap, or as they call it, gospel rap, and you've had so many sounds and broken into so many areas, but you have stayed true to traditional gospel, I think.
Yeah. Well,
and why is that?
And I like worship music also, praise and worship.
And worship,
and
yes.
the tradition and the hymns. And I like the hymns because they work. They work. And I believe that we're in spiritual warfare. We're in spiritual warfare. And when you're in warfare, you need as many different weapons as you can get. If a tank is coming towards you and you got a knife, you're in trouble. You need a hand grenade,
Right.
But if you in hand-to-hand combat with somebody, a hand grenade ain't gonna do you no good. You blow both of y'all up. The knife is what you need then. And so, if I'm laying in my sick bed, the doctor told me I'm getting ready to die, and you're gonna come visit me and sing, "This is the day that the Lord has made." That ain't the song for me right now. It's like I need
I need a healing song.
Me near the cross. Something that, and that's what those hymns do. Sometimes you just need a hymn. You need a real good hymn.
That's
to minister to your soul. And then sometimes you need this is the day that the Lord has made.
That's right.
So true.
You need it all.
Yes.
And what you see though is when a lot of times when the new comes in, the old gets put in the trash can. And I think we're missing it when we do that.
No, I think so too. Because I as I told you, I feel like if you have any kind of challenges with depression, you put on that Feel Good by Dr. Scott in the morning, you will be right.
Yeah.
When you wake up, and that's what that song does. And tell us a little bit more about Feel Good, because I think you told me. What were you saying about that song?
That is the very first song we did when we became a label. That was the first single on that church choir album that I was telling you about when we started the label.
Yes.
That was the first single that we ever put out. And that song today has gone all over the world. It's still a company picked it up that does these books for schools, and so they're singing it in schools. People are singing it overseas, and whatnot.
Well, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, you guys. So check it out. I'm telling you, if you wake up and put that thing right on, you will be ready for your day.
Now, this is one of the songs that was the fruit or came out of that 3-day fast.
Now, no, that wasn't one of the songs that was on the 3-day fast. That was one of the songs so my partner, Craig Tyson, and I, we worked together on the music, that would go on that first album. So they weren't all my songs. There were some of his songs, some of mine. and we just kind of wrote them together. We, you know, in fact, if you look on that album, all the songs have both our names on them. You know, that's
Okay, great.
just the way we flew back then. You know,
that's how you did it back then. We have Jason Claiborne on. We want to say hi to Jason Claiborne. Tyscot.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to see him. And
He was. I was so proud of him on the Stellars. He was out there.
He sure did.
Opened
Yes,
up the
he did.
Stellars.
Yes, he did. So that was great. And so, I mean, so what do you do for fun? I mean, it doesn't seem like you have room for much of anything.
You know, the things that I do, I enjoy them so much. And I know of a whole lot of dentists that have burnt out. I know a lot of pastors that have burnt out. And I think I don't get burnt out because I can do something else. You know, I get tired of doing this, I go over and do that. You know,
You do that.
tired of doing that, I go over and do that.
Well,
so much life.
and I was wondering, now I'm going back on another subject with you doing all these things, but how do you and your wife stay so thin?
She wants to know. She wants to know.
I want to know. Claude and I are over here blowing up.
Well, here's the deal.
Is that sitting over there laughing?
Yeah, that's sitting over there laughing.
He was able to keep it in the whole interview. That way he
Yep.
You have to go back.
So we what my wife, she kind of keeps me in check. She doesn't eat desserts except on weekends. And so since she doesn't eat desserts except on weekends, I don't eat desserts except on weekends. You know,
Okay,
we support each other. Now, if it's somebody's birthday or something, you know, and it's on a Friday or Thursday or something, we'll eat something. But you know, just to eat dessert every day, you know, we don't. We reserve that for weekends, you know. And so we're not.
Yeah, well, Claude and I have had one long weekend.
So
y'all don't eat desserts at all.
I try to do it once a month, but that
Once a month. Wow.
Once a month. Wait, let's not do this.
I try.
So y'all don't eat any sweets at all?
That's all we do is eat sweets.
Oh, that's all you eat.
This is the main one talking about once a month.
Okay, I get it.
We actually love sweets. Well, just a couple other questions now. You've been in ministry. How have you been doing with the church and with the label with COVID? And it looks like it's about to go. I don't know what's going to happen with this Delta thing.
And masking and whether you guys.
So what are you doing?
Well, we just kind of opened back up when COVID hit. You know, Bryant's a pastor also. He pastors.
That's right.
And so we actually combined our churches.
Okay.
And where his church is, it's right behind the Board of Health, and there's a big parking lot. And so we combined and had church outdoors over there on the parking lot.
Okay.
Where people would just pull up in their cars, and that worked until the weather got bad. Then my building sanctuary is a little bit bigger than theirs, so we started having church together, you know, streaming. A few people would come in, and we did that when it was cold. Now we've gone back to the 2 services.
Okay.
But a lot of people are still not coming out, so it's not a problem. You know, it's not. We still do the social distancing and you know, masks, and it's worked so far.
So has it changed things, or are you because I know I've been early on. I was going to some of your services on online. I would listen to them. So have you gained some followers, or is it the hey Jack?
Yes, we have. We've had some people come that like are in the neighborhood that really were going to other people's churches, but their churches are shut down now, and they just want to go to church. You know, they just and I feel them. It's something about being in the house of the Lord. You know that it's different than just sitting at home and watching it. You know, it's like
it's not the same.
It's not the same, but we do our service with our pastor first, and then we do 2 or 3 others, and then sometimes I'll visit
Yeah, I'm still a little, reluctant to
Because
kind of go
LA
to
is crazy.
person-to-person service, even though we have opened back up, and our community has, one of the lowest vaccination rates too. So,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
because
Are you talking about
the black
African
community?
American? Yes. Yeah. Right.
Our.
Right. I thought you were talking about in California. But
Oh,
you
no,
know
I'm
about.
talking
I know
about
what you're talking about. All right.
yeah, across the country. I mean, across the country. So,
Yeah. We're still at less than. Are we at 40%?
I think it was like 40. Maybe it's creeping up a little bit now because of the Delta variant, and things are happening now, and a lot of places are requiring you to be vaccinated. So, but in any event, it's really been, thing that we've been very sensitive to, and try to be circumspect in terms of when we make ourselves, at least at our age.
Yeah.
You're a young man.
I think I'm older than you are.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that offline. We'll have to talk
All
about
right.
that offline. We're creeping up there together.
Okay.
I used to see Albertina Walker and all them, and they used to be the senior people, and you'd look up to them, and we're those people now.
Yeah.
I don't know when it happened.
We used to be the young people,
Pardon me?
We used to be the young people.
Yeah, what happened? As a matter of fact, I remember when we were driving around in a car and I was taking you around to stores, retailers. Was that with your first record, or when was that? When I was working with Tyscot?
That probably wasn't the first one. Because the first one, I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Yeah. What?
Totally,
I know
totally
I got paid.
clueless.
I know I got paid, and I appreciated it. Maybe it was the second one. I just remember us riding in the car and going to all the.
That might have been the Bill Sawyer one. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. I think it was.
That's the one where I first started making money.
Like I said, brother, all I know was I got my checks, and I appreciated my checks. Amen. Right. And my husband did too. So, but now you've got a new. You were the first really to get into film, and you've had a very successful film with Dietrich Haddon. And so, what's happening now with all of that? I hear you got some new things in the works.
Yes. The Blessed and Cursed film did really good, and so we're kind of making it into a series now. So Blessed and Cursed 2.
Yes.
Yeah, soon. So we're excited about that.
Okay, so we've got some good scoops. You've got a single coming out. It's at radio, and we need to go online right away and get that. Support this great man, please. And then we can't wait for the next Dietrich Haddon.
Yeah.
What else?
And I was just saying, Tyscot just took over the Stellar Awards. So congratulations to everyone. Well, you guys have PJ. According to PJ, was through.
Oh, that's right. You have PJ Morton too.
And
that's big.
LaShawn is doing really well on Billboard, and Jason is doing really well, and
you guys are doing well.
Yeah, there's
we got two Jasons.
Yes, you got Jason Nelson.
Jason Nelson and Jason Claiborne.
Jason Nelson is coming out with his new project soon. So
wow, that's right. I got you at PJ, and that's a big one. I mean, he's now a 2-time Grammy with that album. And I remember when he was a little boy. So that's congratulations on all your success now, and everybody needs to support all those projects too. So any other new projects on Tyscot we should know about? You might need Sydney to help you. Sydney?
Yeah, I think we're working on something for Ruth Leandra right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we love them. Avetra's daughter, yes, she's wonderful. Yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. And you guys, I want you to wait too, because in a minute we're gonna have we might have you guys on split screen for a second with Dorinda Clark Cole. will be
great.
joining us in a few minutes to.
I can tell they can come on a little bit.
Yeah, they can come on now. Just to talk to us about some things that are happening. Like I said, we were going to have Byron, and so again, I want everybody to remember to pray for Byron's father, because he's really going through. So I don't know about all that. And what are the new titles that your son has now? I mean, Brian is in high cotton.
They're kind of positioning. This organization you got us into, the Christian Music Publishers Association.
CMPA.
They are grooming him to be like the president of that organization.
He'll be, that organization is almost 100 years old. We're the only two blacks with companies with the CMPA, which is almost 100 years old, very prestigious. And Bryant will be the first black president in there, in the whole existence of the company. And we are proud. He couldn't be a better person for that, really.
Definitely.
Like I said, he's got the temperament and everything, and we're just so proud of that. And I know you must be so proud of your son as well.
Yeah, he's I was sharing.
I'm glad you Dr. Scott, it was us, it wasn't you.
Okay. We've been over here struggling, trying to see what happened.
Yeah, it's us. But some people have asked if you would lead us in prayer right now for Byron's father.
Absolutely. Father, we just thank you so much for your grace and your mercy, for your loving kindness. We thank you for the awesome sacrifice that you paid for us on Calvary. Your word says that you were wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities, that the chastisement of our peace was upon you. Hey, and by your stripes we're healed, Lord. We call out Byron Cage's name right now, his dad, Lord. We pray that you will stretch forth your hand of healing, touch him right now, even as the woman who stretched out her hand to touch the hem of your garment. Healing virtue flow through her body, Lord. We pray in that same virtue, that same healing power flow through his dad right now, Lord, and work a miracle in his life. He's the God of miracles, signs, and wonders.
Glory
Thank you right now for healing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Yeah, that's
Praise
thank
God.
you. Thank you for that. Yeah, so he's a dear friend, and that's
that God's power of healing is present today.
Hey, glory.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
Yes, amen. Hi, Tammy Taylor. That's a friend, and Sean. How are you?
Yeah.
You know Tammy Taylor. Isn't Tammy from Indiana? Tammy Taylor?
Yes, I know Tammy very well.
That's right. That's right. She's from over there. And Letitia, is that Letitia Wiley? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Yeah. So we're waiting now for Dorinda to join us, and let's see if she'll join us in a minute. And just what we talked about, all your new singles that are coming out. And hey, Tammy, we talked about all the new projects that are coming out and all that. And just when I see Tammy and I see you from Indiana and all that, it makes me think about Al Hobbs. I just have to take a moment. You guys were friends, and I guess you both had labels at the same time, but we're very cordial and friendly with each other, so that was a blessing. Yes, Terrence said Dr. Scott is a blessing. He absolutely is one. Can we hear, what did somebody say? Oh, Tammy was saying he's been gone for 7 years now.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't think it had been that long. Oh my goodness. We're just waiting now. I want you guys to know that we have Dr. Leonard Scott on with us today. He is a true pioneer especially for Black people in business. He's a dentist, but he's also a great pioneer in gospel music. And so we're so... Were Al's Records distributed by you? I didn't know that, Dr. Scott.
Yep. Alejo. We distributed Alejo.
Oh, with Order My Steps and all that?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't know Jonathan McReynolds just came on.
No, that's
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a street team. The street team. Hi, Jonathan McReynolds, street team. How you doing? We want you to get out there and support Dr. Scott's new record. And of course, Dietrich Haddon has that Blessed and Cursed coming out. Oh, Yoga Mack is back. That's my sister, Dr. Mack.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she really loves yoga. That's her extra thing that she does.
Interesting.
Yes, she loves yoga, but of course she's a dentist and she does that as well. Did we get a hold of her?
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Oh, we're waiting on Dorinda. Sure, we'll support.
You asked me what I like to do. I like to play guitar.
I was just gonna ask. I was like, "What do you like?
Okay,
you like to play guitar."
Now, is that your first instrument that you played, or you? Okay.
I played. My daddy bought me a clarinet when I was 8 years old, and then when I got into band, that wasn't a popular instrument, so they found me a alto saxophone from somewhere. That's what I played in the R&B band, and then.
Wait. You play R&B sax.
Yeah, saxophone.
From the bottom.
Yeah, we're the one having the difficulty today, and you guys are doing perfectly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys, what's the weather like over there right now?
Well, he was telling us about the saxophone.
Oh, the saxophone.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah.
About the devil's instrument.
You're a soul messenger with the saxophone.
Yeah. Back in the day, see, y'all just don't know. Back in the day, the Hammond organ was the devil's instrument. You didn't have that in no church.
What?
And you better not bring no drums in the church even. Back in the day, the only instruments they accepted was an upright piano or a pipe organ.
Okay.
So when did the Hammond organ come in? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that came in, probably around 50s, maybe 40s or 50s. But before that, that was played.
Was that Thomas Dorsey?
Might have been. Because he was on the other side before he came into the church. And he got kicked out of a lot of churches, for the way he played, the piano.
Wow.
And so that's how I picked up the bass guitar when they didn't accept the saxophone. I went to bass guitar and I played that. That was accepted at the time.
So you can play the guitar in church, but you couldn't play the saxophone.
Not at that time, right? And then but today, of course, you play anything in there, but, and it's just slowly things have come in, and I mean, if you look in the Bible, David created instruments to be played in the house of God.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
So it's just tradition. We get caught up in traditions, and until somebody says, who said that? Where they find that at,
Right. Well, how do you feel now about people like Kanye West and Snoop? And people like that coming in and doing the gospel record, and then with Snoop, then he'll go back and do some of his other stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? When they used to come on TV at the Grammys or something, and they sing a song with cuss word every other word, and then they get their Grammy and they say, "All praise to God." And that used to trouble me until I read my Bible, and my Bible said, "Let everything that have breath praise the Lord."
That's
right.
They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
That's right.
Praising the Lord. It didn't say every saved thing. It said everything.
That's right. That's right.
Everything.
That's right. Everything. And I say they're rock singers because the rocks are crying out. They're rock singers.
They rock stars. All right, the rocks are crying.
Rock stars, because the rocks are crying out. So that's part of how that goes. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds and see if we can get Dorinda on with you. Yeah, Shami's gonna give us a call because I talked to Dorinda last night, and they're gonna be Byron, hopefully, and what is this, Sir the Baptist and Peter Cottontail? Who's saying that?
They said, what about curse words in gospel songs?
Sir the Baptist is with Donald Lawrence.
They got curse words in gospel songs. Well, I've had a few instances with that myself, but that's interesting.
That's kind of deep, right?
Yeah, that's a little far. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, this Tammy is giving us knowledge. Bishop Scott's sister is a top hairdresser in Indy and married to Donald Golder. Okay.
Now, I don't think she's doing hair no more though. She got her doctorate degree.
Her doctorate degree. Okay.
Yeah, she used to do hair a long time ago, but yeah.
All right.
She's doing some other things now.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I was wondering. I know it's crazy, but I think when I looked, was that over in India? Oh no, that was in Texas where it's raining and the sun is shining here. So I was like,
oh yeah, that's a heat wave going on.
You guys have a heat wave?
No, here.
Oh, here, yeah.
Different places.
Yeah, well, we're gonna wait a few more minutes to see if we can get evangelists on the line. We'll see. Did you call and see?
Yeah, but we can always come back unless Dr. Scott wants to continue.
Yeah, but well, Dr. Scott, we've loved having you.
Right.
And we want to say thank you. We don't want to keep you on too long. We've had such a good time. And we wanted you to know as a family how much we love your family and respect
Yes.
you guys. And
we love you all too. You have an awesome family, I tell you.
Oh, so do you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and my father says hello. You know, he's 93 now.
Wow. And still
golfing.
He get around good.
Oh, see, we need Tammy on here. We didn't even talk about your book. So before you leave, she said you have a book on nutrition?
Yeah, it's called The Ultimate Boost from Within, 31 Days to Health, Wealth, Wholeness, and Happiness.
Well, that's
why you guys are so thin. You should have told us about that.
Tell us about the book. Maybe they can get something.
Does it include weekend desserts?
Well, and here's the deal. The book is really about not abstinence, but about moderation, you know. Okay. And I met with, he was our state medical director, and then he became our Surgeon General. And I met with him before I did this book, and he told me that when he tries to get somebody to stop smoking, he never tells them cold turkey. He tells them smoke one less cigarette a day. Mm-hmm. He said, and then the next day smoke one less, you know, and then the next day smoke one less. Right. But he said, you know, if you try to cold turkey, they always go back. You know,
you always go back.
And so you just take it a little bit at a time in moderation. And so that's what the book is about. It's not, and so you won't become an athlete by reading this book. I mean, you won't run marathons. Okay. But you'll be healthy. It's just about being healthy.
I need to read that book.
Yes.
And of course, we've got Tammy Taylor on, who is like a whole different woman. Tammy Taylor has done so well, and she's lost so much weight, and she looks great.
Yes.
So, but we just wanted to say thank you so much. We don't want to keep you on too much longer because we're not sure if Dorinda's going to make it on. So thank you again. We've had the opportunity to talk to a real living legend and someone who has helped the Latayats with gospel-centric, and we're so appreciative.
Yeah, successful not only in music, but in dentistry and ministry. So you well accomplished in a number of different areas.
Yeah, and thank you for taking time from your choir practice tonight.
Oh, you got choir practice. Okay.
No, he made adjustments for us.
Okay.
I just wanted to say publicly, we really appreciate you.
Oh, well, you know,
for us for some, that was very special.
Just talking to my good friends, all of y'all, my good
friends. We just did having one of our chats as we do from time to time. I enjoyed this. And you guys are looking at a true living legend and someone that the Latayats really look up to. Yes. So thank you. And we might be back on in a few minutes with Dr. Dorinda Clark Cole. But in the meantime, we want to say thank you. God bless. Don't forget Jolie Noir, who made this my outfit. And I'll have some pictures of it too so you can see it. Thanks again. We love you.
All right. God bless. Bye-bye. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Hello. Thank you so much for watching Carfitable Talks.
Thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
leave some comments. Really need to hear from you.
Thank you.